exciting in the world of Purview eDiscovery. Something that's been in the works for quite a while now, and that is the Microsoft Purview eDiscovery Modern UX. So my name is David Robbins. I am a senior product manager with our eDiscovery team, and I am part of the customer experience and engineering team. And John, I'll let you introduce yourself real quick as well.
Yep. Hi, everyone. I'm John Wirtala. I'm part of the customer experience team as well with David, so supporting eDiscovery.
Excellent. So before we get into the world of the modern UX, I want to first talk about the new Purview Portal, which was rolled out in April to commercial tenants and has recently been rolled out to GCC tenants. So the new Purview Portal is replacing what you see here, which is the Purview Compliance Portal. The Purview Compliance Portal has been around for quite some time, but we are very excited that we are now rolling all of our compliance suite of products into the new Purview Portal, which is going to expand on the capabilities of Purview with exciting new features that are coming. So the new Purview Portal will be replacing the Compliance Portal, and as an opportunity for the eDiscovery team, we decided that we were going to move forward with a redesign to our user experience for eDiscovery, basically dealing with some of the feedback items that we've received from customers like yourselves. So next, let's go ahead and talk about the Purview eDiscovery Modern UX. So if you're interested in getting more information on the Purview eDiscovery Modern UX, I recommend checking out our public roadmap. This is the roadmap item number that you see here. And if one of my colleagues would be so kind to put the link to the public roadmap in the chat, we'll be sure to make, this is where we're going to make updates to our roadmap, and you can go there to learn more information about what's coming to the world of Purview eDiscovery. And next, John, I will turn this over to you to talk about what we've heard from our customers.
Okay, great. So again, the big reason why we're doing the webinar again, we're making some big changes. Why are we making those changes? So we want to cover really what we've heard back from our customers from the old experience, from both eDiscovery Premium and Standard. So in the old portal, especially with eDiscovery Premium, there's just too many clicks, too many wizards. There's a wizard for doing everything from searches to holds to changing search criteria. So there's a lot of going back and forth between wizards, even if you're making changes, even after you set up your case in your search categories. So one of the areas as well that we heard, not only with too many clicks and complexity, but it's really a steep learning curve, basically managing cases across different platforms. So some folks use Standard, some use Premium. Some use both. So how do I manage cases, in Standard or Premium? What do I use? How do I use it? Which would be better for me? What sort of features and so forth, are attached to each one of those? And so there's a lot of going back and forth.
Yeah, the big thing we heard from customers is that we want to be able to do our jobs faster.
Yeah.
Time matters in the world of eDiscovery. So what can we do to streamline our processes and get the results that we need faster?
So one of our focus today on the call is to kind of go over those changes, why we're making those changes, but really want to dive into how we could better support for groups and teams, how we're integrating with CoPilot. So some of the changes there that people have really been asking for. Simplifying advanced indexing experience. As we know with Premium, sometimes the advanced indexing, when you move to a review set, could take a lot of time and expand those search times. So we've actually simplified that, reduced some times, and gave users options on how to interact with advanced indexing. We also will be highlighting a more unified eDiscovery experience. So David will walk you through that. And instead of having to work across Standard and Premium, again, with that unified experience, how that's going to work. So again, our focus is really to make searches simpler, more robust, and delivering an overall better user experience, across eDiscovery. So with that, I'll hand it to David to start how this will look.
Yeah, so before we get into the capabilities of the new UX, we need to talk about the unified eDiscovery experience and what that means to you. As John mentioned, right now, a very common piece of feedback we get from customers is that they're having to work out of not only eDiscovery Premium, but eDiscovery Standard and Content Search as part of their daily job, which requires our customers to know 3 different user interfaces just to do their work. And of course, with 3 different user experiences, things change and it gets really complicated to basically know, hey, where do I need to go for what? So with the new UX, what we wanted to do is basically have a unified eDiscovery experience. And what that means to you is that it doesn't matter what your license level is, either E3 or E5. When you go into the new UX, you're going to have the same experience. But if you do have those E5 licenses, you're going to have access to those premium features that you had in eDiscovery Premium with some new features as well. So this is what the new UX is going to look like when you first go to the Purview eDiscovery under the Purview Portal. And what we have here is we have the new UX, which you can see preview for the overview page, the cases page, and the new content search. But you'll also see our classic eDiscovery solutions available here. And that brings me to the first point I want to talk about, which is these are backwards compatible. So what I mean by that is you will be able to work out of the same case in eDiscovery Premium, eDiscovery Standard, and the new UX. So you will be able to choose your experience. And the retirement of eDiscovery Standard, Premium, and Content Search is not going to be tied to the retirement of the Compliance Portal, which means even after the Compliance Portal is decommissioned, you will still be able to access your eDiscovery Standard cases, your eDiscovery Premium cases, and your content searches. And we'll be able to access those until a date that we'll announce when we go to general availability with the modern UX. The second point I want to mention is there is no case migration process. So what I mean by that, you do not have to migrate any of your standard cases, premium cases, or content searches to the new UX. Starting on day 1, you'll be able to go into the new UX and see all of your existing cases and content searches. Also, your permissions aren't going to change. You won't need to make any updates to your permissions, your RBAC, or to your compliance boundaries. The new UX will fully support all of your existing changes. So once again, and I really want to make sure everyone's very aware of this, when the new UX comes out, and we are currently in the process of rolling this out to public preview, you will still be able to access eDiscovery Standard, Premium, and Content Search, and we will give you time to do your testing and make that transition into the new UX. So I really want to be perfectly clear on that. Now, as part of the modern UX, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to have the same experience, whether you have E3 or E5 licenses or the advanced compliance SKUs. And in order to kind of make that change between the premium and standard capabilities, so those E3 and E5 capabilities, there is a switch within your case settings where you could choose to disable the premium features. Now, this might be very important for those who are using mixed license environments, but you will be able to disable those premium features if you choose to. And once again, you'll be able to access this within the eDiscovery settings. Now, that takes us to the next slide here, and this will show you what that experience will look like if you have those premium features enabled. We are going to disable the features that we consider to be premium features, and you'll be able to access everything else. So once again, what our goal is here is to reduce the learning curve by making sure that you have access, everyone, no matter what your license level has access to the same experience. But once again, for those who do have those premium licenses, you'll be able to check out to be able to utilize those advanced features. Now let's go into the modern UX and talk about some of the new things found within the new modern UX. So first, we're going to talk about the intuitive search experience. As John mentioned earlier, in eDiscovery Premium and Standard, there are a lot of clicks. There's a process, a lot of wizards, as John mentioned earlier as well, that once you create a case, you create your search, which requires going through a wizard. And then if you want to modify, you create your search. And if you want to go modify, say, the locations, you have to go through another wizard. Or if you want to modify the query for your search, you have to go through another wizard. And if you want an eDiscovery Premium, if you want to modify or actually change locations, that can involve you going to different wizards and even different tabs within your case. So when it came to the new UX, our goal was simply to make this more intuitive, faster, easier. And we do that by making everything you need available on one page. So if you need to go adjust your locations, you can do that right here. If you need to adjust your query, you can do that right here, all on the same page. And that takes us to the first step, which is our enhanced data sources. As John mentioned, finding your locations that you need to search can be difficult. It's not easy to find the mailboxes and the location in the sites that you're looking for. It can be difficult to manage groups and teams within Microsoft 365. And our users need to easily identify a custodian, locate their OneDrive account and their mailbox, and be able to do things like determine who they frequently collaborate with and identify their emails or their mailboxes in OneDrive. Now let's talk teams. Identifying teams in eDiscovery Standard and Premium can be a bit difficult because when you're talking about teams, it's not just locating a mailbox or a site, it's both. And not only that, but a team can have multiple sites associated with it, including standard channels, shared channels, and private channels. And we need to be able to easily identify all those locations when it comes to supporting teams. And as most people are aware of on this call, Teams usage has really expanded. So being able to identify groups and teams and custodians quickly is critical to eDiscovery. So here's what we've done. Unlike eDiscovery Premium, we wanted to make it where anything you're looking for can be identified easily in one location. So there is no longer the concept of a custodial location or a non-custodial location. What do I put in a custodial location? What do I put as a non-custodial location? What do they mean? Now in the new UX, anything that you're looking for, be it a custodian, like what you see here, or a team, like you see here, can be identified easily by putting in either the email address, alias, or team name directly in this search bar. And you can also search for all locations for tenant-wide searches as well. And not only that, but we have added additional filtering capability to make it easier to find what you're looking for. So our goal with the enhanced data sources is to make one location where you can manage all of the different sites, the teams, the custodians for your case easily and identify all of the mailboxes and sites associated with them. And we also do have this detailed view that you see here, where you can actually learn more about the locations that you've included. So this is what it looks like for teams, where you can see that we do support private channels and shared channels. And for mailboxes, you can see that or for custodians, you can see that we've identified the mailbox and the OneDrive site associated with the custodian. So we really do want to make this an easier method for identifying the locations that you're wanting to search in the modern UX. And also, we've added some new capabilities too. So as I mentioned earlier, now in the modern UX, you have the ability to identify frequent collaborators. See who your custodian is collaborating with, both internal and external to your organization, and easily convert those to locations through your search. Another new feature found in the new UX. So this isn't just a new UX. We are also adding additional features as well. And one of the additional features that we've added is this button that you see here, which is the sync button. And what this button does is it addresses one of the common items that we get, or feedback items that we get from customers. We have added this feature to address the problem of locations changing. Locations change pretty quickly in the world of Microsoft 365. Teams are adding new sites, new channels. Custodians are enabling OneDrive. So what happens if locations change? So let me give you a quick scenario here. So let's say that you have had the request to run a search in eDiscovery to return chat history for a team. So you go out, create your search, grab the chat history, and send it to the requester. Then 3 weeks later, the requester comes back and says, hey, could you rerun this search, but with a new query? So you go to your case, you go to your search, and you rerun that search to provide the new chat history to the requester. But what you don't know was in that 3-week period, that team added a shared channel. And because you never selected that shared channel, well, now it might not be included in your new search. Or let's say that you have a custodian that when you created your search initially, they didn't have a OneDrive account provisioned. 3 weeks later, they have a OneDrive account provisioned. But because you never actually identified that location when you first added it to the case, you could miss the results in that OneDrive location. Well, this option here will actually check your locations, and it will let you know if anything has changed since you first added those locations. Has a custodian added a OneDrive? Has a team added a private channel or shared channel? Well, with this button here, we will identify the locations and allow you to add them to your search. So that's one of the new features found in the modern UX. Now, a couple new features and a couple more new features within the modern UX, and that is the additional search properties. So we have added some new search properties to the modern UX. And the first one I want to show you is the ability to search OneDrive and SharePoint for sensitive information types. So we have a lot of sensitive information types in Microsoft 365. And what this feature allows you to do is specify the one that you're looking for. In this case, it's credit card number. Identify the confidence level, and it will allow you to search for those results. So you will be able to pull up documents that contain credit card numbers using the same sensitive information types that other products like Microsoft Information Protection and Data Loss Prevention use. So that's a new feature within the new UX, that ability to search for sensitive information types. Next is integration with Microsoft Information Protection. A lot of our customers have rolled out Microsoft Information Protection sensitivity labels. And now with the new UX, you will be able to create searches to find emails or documents within Microsoft 365 that have sensitivity labels applied. So with this, we'll be able to identify emails or documents that have a highly confidential label applied. So do you want to see emails and documents that contain that highly confidential classification? Or maybe you want to exclude highly confidential documents from your search results. You can do that with the new UX and the new integration with Microsoft Information Protection. Also, we have the ability to search for unique identifiers in the modern UX. By a unique identifier, in Exchange, that would be the message ID. And for documents, the SharePoint or OneDrive, it's the full document path. So now in the new UX, we have that ability to search for an email or document using a unique ID to return only that document. This can be a very, very useful feature when it comes to remediating data spillage events. Now, instead of having to build queries to try to target one email, you can actually put in the message ID and target the very email that you're looking to delete using search and delete. So, John, why don't you talk to us about CoPilot for Security in eDiscovery?
That'd be great. Thanks, David. So as David mentioned, a lot of new search capabilities coming through eDiscovery. One of those that we look to incorporate is how do we incorporate security for CoPilot within the eDiscovery experience. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about was one of the enhancements is supporting our query searches. So within eDiscovery now with CoPilot for Security, you have the ability to put natural language. So put in what you're searching for within the natural language prompt here, as you see on the left, what you're trying to search. And what CoPilot for Security will do is once you've put your natural language or your query in here, it will create this and convert it into a KQL query. So I know we've all struggled with syntax. Am I putting in the right KQL? What this does, what CoPilot will do, will actually translate this into a KQL. Another item too is as you're putting in your natural language or your queries of what you want to search, sometimes it's hard to, put on, type out what we're trying to search, from what our brain is telling us and actually putting something that is cohesive. So another area that, or another option that you can within this natural language prompt, you have suggested prompts. So you could put in what your query, what you want to search. If for some reason that's not really getting what you want, you could have suggested prompts, which CoPilot will then suggest some natural language prompts, maybe put it into bullets or number it, as you see in the example here. And then once that meets your needs, again, then you could generate a KQL query. So this will then give you the more advanced searches. You could copy this query and then run your query off the KQL that was developed from your natural language selection.
Absolutely. It's great that we can utilize Security CoPilot within eDiscovery to really make it easier to get those queries created and used for our customers.
Absolutely. And then the other feature that we have within CoPilot is the summary page. So here, once we've done our searches, we pulled the documents, we can also leverage CoPilot to do summarizations. So say you're in a review set, you have a document or Teams conversation or email, and you want CoPilot to summarize those document conversations or emails. And then you could also ask follow-up questions like, does this contain credit card numbers or sensitive information types, as an example. So again, not only does it summarize, but then once that summarization occurs, you could actually, as I mentioned, dive into either deeper questions and find certain items or certain materials within that summarization of the document or conversations.
Absolutely. We're really excited about Security CoPilot and what it can bring to eDiscovery.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Excuse me.
So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
Oh,
I was going to say, John's going to talk to us about the new search by file.
Yes. So as we continue down the searching theme, so now we have, supporting investigations with search by file. So what this feature is really geared toward is an investigation workflow. So a good example would be you have an account that was compromised by a bad actor. What this feature will do is it'll help you investigate a compromised account. And how this does is this will actually let you could generate an audit log from time frame of when the account is compromised. So this will show all activity while the account was compromised. So here you could actually, again, pull the file, get a time frame, and pull this information out. So once this is done, you actually will be able to see the details of the account. You could then also upload a search by file, and it will target the activity that was done during while the account was compromised. So if you go to the next screen, sorry, yeah. So again, here we see that you're able to get a time frame. You're looking at the through the auto log search, the files or the time frame that you want to do the search for. And then once you've done the search or run the query, you can go to the statistics page. And then again, this is going to show you the activity that was done while the account was compromised. And from here, you could upload and continue your investigation.
Yes, this is a new feature that's really geared towards that investigation workflow. And one of the improvements we have to really help support those who are using eDiscovery for investigations. Okay, so John, why don't you talk to us about one of the long-running requests we've had for eDiscovery, and that's job progress.
So yes, this was a very popular item that we were meeting a lot of customers' requests for. So a lot of frustration with previous or with eDiscovery on how long these jobs are taking. This job is running for days. We don't know when it's going to end. We can't cancel these job progresses. So now with the new UI or the new experience, you can actually view results of your job progress bar. So this is going to show the estimated time of completion at the top. This is going to, when you're running jobs, when you're working on review sets and so forth, this is going to show you an estimated time of completion. The nice thing is, though, with the job running and the completion, this actually will also stream the information. So say you have a job that's going to take, maybe it says, an hour. It's a big job. It's a lot of information you're pulling, or moving over to review set. What is nice is the new streaming capabilities is that as the job is processing, the data will actually start populating. So you can actually still work or see the data coming in as the job's processing. So no longer having to wait for the whole job to complete if you don't want to get, to wait to see insights. Here allows you to see those insights and some of the information that's coming as the job continues the process. Another enhancement, as we mentioned, was you're able to cancel these jobs. Oh, yeah. So as the job's processing, maybe it says, 4 hours. Oh, geez, maybe I need to do a date range. Maybe I need to, filter my search even more. Here, you can actually cancel the job that's in progress and restart over. Yeah. So this is another big feature that our customers ask, and can alleviate some frustrations, which is great.
So yes, you hear it right now. Finally, in eDiscovery, we have progress bars and estimates for how long your job will run. So now let's talk about one of the big changes coming to the world of the modern UX, and that is simplifying advanced indexing. So advanced indexing is a real big value add of eDiscovery Premium, where we can take the native indexing that Exchange, SharePoint, and OneDrive does, and take it to the next level with advanced indexing, where we have higher limits, more file types, and can do things like optical character recognition. But when it comes to advanced indexing in eDiscovery Premium, it's not really intuitive or easy to know how to best use it. Like, for example, in eDiscovery Premium, we do advanced indexing at 2 different stages within your case. One, when we add results or add locations under data sources. So that data sources tab there, when you add custodians or non-custodial locations, we kick off an advanced indexing job. Or 2, when you commit results to a review set. But there's a bit of an issue with that. It's not easy to search on your freshest index. So what I mean by that is, let's say that I'm about to go home for the day. And before I go home for the day, I add 20 custodians to my case. And while I'm making my trip home, we're going to run that advanced indexing job, and it's going to finish. And the next day, I get into the office, and I want to run my search. But now my advanced indexing job is, what, 12 hours out of date, which is a lot when you're dealing with live data. So if I want to basically run my search on the freshest index, it means that I have to basically go into data sources, and start a new indexing job. Then I have to wait for it to finish and then run my search. It's a very manual process. And, it's not really easy to understand or explain. But in the new UX, we've changed it. Now, if you want to run your search with the freshest index, all you have to do is check a box. You check a box, and we'll run that advanced indexing job. And when it's done, we'll automatically start your search. So we've automated this process. All you have to do is check a box, and your search job, your committing results to a review set, or your direct export will always be done with the freshest advanced index. So now that manual process of starting the advanced indexing job, waiting for it to complete, and then starting your search, you don't have to do that anymore. If you want advanced indexing, check a box, and you'll always be searching across the freshest index. And that takes us to another area of improvement, and that is the new categories and keyword reporting. So this is the new estimate/category view that you're going to have in the new UX. We've included more information about your search hits, your locations, your data sources, but we've included new categories like top data sources, top sensitive information types, to give you a little bit more visibility into the sensitive information in your case. And we even have a new keyword report. Now, one thing that's really exciting here, this is all downloadable. We have increased the amount of reporting that we have in the modern UX. You can now download reports for your keywords, for your sensitive information types, and even job information. We have a lot more reporting available to you in the modern UX, and we're really hoping that this will add additional value with your eDiscovery work. And let's talk export. Export's obviously, something that our customers are very interested in. So let's talk about some of the new export features in the new UX. Just like with eDiscovery Premium, you will be able to do committing results to a review set and then do your export from the review set, or a direct export, which is what we're looking at right now. So with the direct export, just like with eDiscovery Standard in Premium, you'll be able to choose whether or not you want to include this partially indexed content. But also, just like with eDiscovery Premium, we have the ability to get, when it comes to SharePoint and OneDrive documents, we will be able to get the latest version or all versions. But one of the new capabilities with the new tool is to get the recent 10 versions or recent 100 versions as well. So that's a new feature in the new UX, the ability to get the recent 10 or 100 versions when it comes to documents. We've brought over the collect items inside subfolders of a matched folder from eDiscovery Premium and SharePoint lists and attachments. But we also have now some differences between eDiscovery and Premium when it comes to teams. In eDiscovery and eDiscovery Premium, the Include Teams in Viva Engage Conversations option is automatically enabled with the HTML transcript. So you can't get the Teams Yammer conversation threading without the HTML transcript. But one of the new features in the new UX is now you can take advantage of the Teams and Yammer conversation threading, or the contextual conversations, but not have the HTML transcript. So you can get those individual native Teams chats if you want them. So if you have a vendor that's having trouble processing the HTML transcript downstream, now you can still take advantage of this Teams and Viva Engage conversations, but not have to put them into an HTML transcript. Of course, we still have the ability to support cloud attachments that we have in eDiscovery Premium. And if you have version shared enabled, that will also work. But now, once again, you can get the recent 10 versions or the recent 100 versions when it comes to cloud attachments. When it comes to direct exports, we can get the item report or the items with the item report. And we can also get your emails in a PST, .msg, or .eml format. But what I want to talk to you today is about some of the other formatting capabilities we have when it comes to eDiscovery Modern UX. The first is one of the common, parity complaints when it comes to eDiscovery Premium versus Standard is that in eDiscovery Premium, you do not have the ability to export all emails into a single PST, which is something you can do in eDiscovery Standard. Well, luckily, in the new UX, you have the ability to export all of your emails into a single PST, just like eDiscovery Standard. And like eDiscovery Premium, we still have that condensed directory structure where you can put all of your results into a single folder. But another pain point in eDiscovery Premium is that when you use condensed directory structure exports in eDiscovery Premium, we rename everything with a GUID. Well, in the new UX, you can preserve that friendly name, which means you can get those results and still maintain the friendly name, which for eDiscovery Premium, for email, that is the subject, and for SharePoint files, it's the name, the document name. So in the new UX, you can now put everything into a single folder while preserving that friendly name. Or if you prefer the GUID, you could just uncheck this option here, and you'll get that GUID that you got when you did condensed directory exports within eDiscovery Premium. Last is this one here. And I am pretty sure that some of the people on this call have ran into this issue. You may or may not be aware, but OneDrive for Business and SharePoint Online support longer folder paths and file names than Windows. And unfortunately, what that means to you is that sometimes you'll get results from eDiscovery Premium. You'll go to unzip them in Windows, and it's going to give you an error. It's going to say, hey, this file path or file name or folder path is too long. We can't unzip it. And you have to use a third-party product to basically handle the truncation to get it under that character limit where you can open it on Windows. I know some of you have dealt with this. But in the new UX, you can let eDiscovery handle that truncation for you. So eDiscovery will truncate the file paths, folder paths, and file names to get them under that limit so you can unzip them on Windows. So that's another new capability of the new UX. And one more thing I want to talk to you about today is holds. eDiscovery holds are very important. And some of the common feedback areas we get on holds now is that we need better transparency when it comes to hold statuses. We need to know what's on hold or what's not on hold, and where do we need to go to get that information? Well, that's one of the things that we've introduced in the new UX, or dealt with the new UX. So the first thing is I'm going to go to my holds policy tab here, and I'm going to create a new hold policy. And you'll notice right away that in the new hold policies, we have our new data sources view along with our new UX, or our condition builder and the KQL editor. So this takes advantage of all those features that you saw when we talked about that intuitive search experience. The easy method for identifying locations. So the ability to easily identify a custodian's mailbox and OneDrive account, and support for teams, where now you can basically apply holds to teams while still making sure that all of the channels, including shared channels, private channels, and standard channels, are covered by the hold. So we have brought the new data sources and the condition builder and KQL editor to allow you to do your query-based holds. But of course, if you leave the condition empty or the query empty, it's going to put that entire location on hold. But what I'm most excited to talk to you about today is this details view. The details view is going to answer that transparency question that I mentioned earlier. How do I know what's really on hold? If I get a status that the hold is on with errors, what's really on hold and what's not? So with this new details view, not only do we give you an overview of the hold status, but we break it down by location. So you can easily go and see all the locations that are on hold and know what the status is. Are there any sites that had errors? And you'll also give more information by giving you the ability to drill into one of those locations to check the status. And be able to retry the policy from within one of those locations. And best yet, all of this is downloadable. So you can build a report showing your hold status within this hold policy. So this will let you easily identify any location that has an error by giving you the new details view with enhanced ways of remediating those issues. So that is something we're very excited about within the new UX. And here you can see what it looks like when you drill into this location. So you can see there's no errors on this one, but if there were, you would see more information about what the error is and with the ability to retry the policy from within the location. So those are an overview of the new UX, but of course, there's a lot more than what we had time to show you today. So we have given you some links here, including the roadmap that we mentioned earlier. We also have a new interactive click-through guide that will cover all the capabilities within the new UX. So please take a look at that if you want to see a little bit more details about what the modern UX is going to bring. We also have the new documentation for the modern UX available, which you can go through now. And this is also where we'll be making blog posts. So please check out these links. There's a lot to cover, which you don't have time to get to everything today, of course. But these new resources will help you understand all the value that the modern UX brings. And John, why don't you talk to us about your survey?
Yeah, absolutely. As we move into the next section, which would be Q&A, wanted to quickly talk about the survey. So as David mentioned, we went through a lot of information. There's a big information dump that we went through with the new eDiscovery Modern UX. But we'd like to hear your feedback on the features that we presented, but also other features, other issues that are missing. So the survey that we have here, I have the link and or QR code. It'll only take a few minutes. There's just a few questions on here. But this feedback will really help our team shape the new eDiscovery Modern UX experience. So as we're in public preview and as we're working to deliver this to GA, this feedback is paramount for us to get. So again, there are changes, there are improvements that we can still make before we get to the general availability launch. So your feedback is very important, and this will give you a chance to let us know how you like the experience, but also any improvements and anything that could be missing. So I encourage everybody to take just a few minutes out of your time and complete the survey. So please use the link, or if you have a cell phone or anything like that, use the QR code and that'll take you right to the survey.
Absolutely. we're really excited to share the modern UX with you. This is based on the feedback we've gotten from customers. Everything from progress bars to better support for investigations and so on. And there's a lot of features we didn't cover today. So take the opportunity to, take a look at the new UX when it hits your public preview and becomes available for you, and provide that feedback, because that's how we improve the product. But we're really excited about the work that's going on here. We hope that it will address some of your feedback concerns, and also we'll be doing future sessions on that. Hopefully ones where I don't have a coughing fit right in the middle of it. But really, thank you again for your feedback. I wanted to make sure we left some time for questions and answers. So I will open this up to questions. I know that my colleagues have been busy answering them in the chat, but if there's anything that we need to address now, happy to do so.
Great, thank you. Yeah, the team has been great with answering questions. We don't have any new ones that have come in, but there is one that it might be worth reiterating.
Sure.
It is, can we identify subchannels in teams, not just the top level teams like it currently is?
Yes. So, well, at least for private channels and shared channels, we can. I guess, Nina, that might be one that you might be able to address there. Like Nina showed like the sites for it, but I think we'll only show one for the standard channels. But we do have for support for private channels and shared channels. You'll be able to get channel information from within a review set if you're looking at results. But unless I'm wrong, I don't think you could drill in and see like every standard channel. You'll just see one standard channel. Yeah.
I think I guess when you say standard, you mean like the general standard channel.
Yeah.
We would list the name of the channels, but since all the data are stored into the same location, it would be on the same role. But we would be able to list the channel names and the type in the drill down in the data source. So the user would be able to pick and choose which data location associated to the team's group, and then for those data location, which channels are associated. So you should be able to select a subset of those teams' locations for a specific team's group.
Excellent.
Great. We did have one that just came in. It is, how can you purge a specific email now that search is part of a case?
Yeah. So you will be able to run search and purge, even though it's in a case. I think our documentation might cover that. If not, I'll make sure that it's noted there. But the big advantage here is that you will have the ability to basically target a specific email for search and delete, which is something you can't do now. So you'll be able to say, hey, I don't have to build out, hey, something that's within this date range with these participants, with these other conditions, to try to narrow it down to a single email. You'll be able to use that message ID to target a specific email from search and delete. But we'll make sure the documentation does have basically the process for handling it if the search is within a case.
Great, thank you. And then we did have another that came in. Will new features or bug fixes apply to both the classic and the new experience? Example, capacity to decrypt UDP encrypted documents, which is expected soon.
So for new features, the new features are going to be targeted to the new UX. So if you're looking to take advantage of new features that are rolling out, most likely those are going to be specifically for the modern UX, because it will be replacing eDiscovery Standard and Premium. For bug fixes, we will continue to support eDiscovery Standard and Premium until it is retired. But for any new feature that's coming out, it will be for the new UX.
Great. We are getting a couple comments here saying the QR code is working for the survey, but the link that was provided on the same slide is not. It could have been that I wrote it in wrong, but if someone could take that link and put it in the chat, that would be great.
Yeah, I could do that right now. Give me 2 seconds.
Cool. Outside of that, that seems to be all the questions we had. So with that, I'd like to thank David and John for being our guests.
Absolutely.
And for sharing the great information with our community. Also, thank you to the Q&A team who helped us with answering the questions and providing the resourceful information. To all the listeners still on the line, if you're someone who wishes to aid in the protection of the world from cyber threats and desire to have a say in shaping our strategies, blueprints, and recommendations, then we invite you to become part of our security community. Together, we can make a global impact. So join us at aka.ms/security-community. This is also where you'll be notified about the upcoming webinars, events, and other announcements. For those of you who may have additional questions on the topic we just covered or other product-related questions, please feel free to raise them on our Microsoft Tech Community discussion space at aka.ms/Azure Purview Community. Thank you all for being part of our community and for joining us on these webinars. We hope to see you next time. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.